Hey, welcome to Key Skill 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. That is 8 fingers, right? In this last key skill, we'll be looking at the same question, but the really tricky part that you get at the end of the geometric question. It was supposed to be part of key skill 7, but I've made it its own key skill because it's a bit long, and I don't want it to go on and on and on. So in this question, we've been told in 2019, a company is making $25,000 a year. The company predicts that they will increase their revenue by 3%. In which year does the total, so we know we're talking about sum, revenue exceed, so bigger than 100,000. So we need to find when the Sn will be bigger than or exceed 100,000. First, we're going to find the n, and then once we've got the n, we're going to go back and put that n into our formula for the year. So once we've got the n, can put it back here and calculate the corresponding year. So let's begin. Sn is r to the n minus 1, because remember rr was 1.03, so it was bigger than 1. If you follow the exact way that I do this with the algebra, it will be much easier for you. So the a was 25,000, and that was 1.03 to the n minus 1, divided by 1.03 minus 1, which is bigger than 100,000. Start by working here on the bottom. 1.03 minus 1 is going to be 0.03. So you take this, and that's going to be 0.03. You take that 0.03 and you multiply it over here with the 100,000. So that divide by 0.03 goes over here and turns into a times by. If you're not sure how to do that in your head, just do your calculator, but for those of you that are more confident, you can just do that in your head. So you have now 25,000, 1.03 to the n minus 1. So basically, in the beginning, you work on the r minus 1. You calculate it, and then you change it from a divide by to a times by. The next thing that you should move is the multiply by 25,000. You should move it from a times by to a divide by. So you move it over here from times by there to divided by. So what you're basically doing is moving everything around so the 1.03n is alone. That's your objective. At that point, we'll be able to take logs, but you've just got to do it in a very careful way. I would cancel down here, 1, 2, 3, 0 is 1, 2, 3. So you've got now 1.03n minus 1 is bigger than 3 out of 25. Now you're going to move the minus 1 over to the other side, so it's plus 1. And then finally, your 1.03n will be alone. Now 1, remember, is going to be the same if you make common denominator as 25 over 25. So you'll have the last step before you take logs will be 1.03n bigger than 28 over 25. And now you're going to take logs on both sides. Remembering the rule that when you have a power here, you can move that in front of the log. So that would be n times by log 1.03 bigger than log 28 over 25. And you move this multiply log to over here and divide by. You can take out the times by. You're going to type all that into your calculator. In this example, you're going to have n bigger than 3.83. I want to just stop here and draw your attention to something. If what you've got inside that bracket is less than 1, for example, if it would be 0.75, if it's a fraction less than 1 or a decimal, that actually will be a negative number. Now, why is that important? If you remember back to the inequalities course, if you were to divide by a negative number, you would need to flip this inequality here. In our example, we've got 1.03. That's bigger than 1. So we can divide without flipping this inequality, but be very careful. If that would be, for example, 0.98, it would be less than 1. And when I flipped it, I would need to change this around. I would need to change the direction of the inequality. So be careful there. Now we've got n is bigger than 3.84. Remember, n is the place in the sequence. So you can't have a negative number for n. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got n is bigger than 3.83. So 3.83 would be around here. So the first place it would be bigger than 3.83 would be here at 4. N is equal to 4. Similarly, if this had been, for example, less than, n is less than 3.83, then your arrow would be going in the other direction, less than to the left, and you would take 3. Now ours is bigger than, so we're going to take 4. But just be aware of that. Now we're asked to calculate the year, so we're going to go back to our equation that we made right at the very beginning, that we've used in every single stage, which is year minus 2018 is equal to n. Now we've got the n being 4, but we'd like to calculate the year. So how do I do that? We put in here 4, and we say the year is 4 plus 2018, so the year is going to be 2022. Okay, now you are really finished. I hope you've enjoyed the course and learned a lot. Don't forget that you need to do all of your Key Skill 8 questions, and you need to complete your exam questions relating to this topic. Bye for now. I hope to see you on the next course. Ciao!